School board regular meeting Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, come to order. We're gonna open, I'll do the prayer and pledge. Mr. Petty, prayer, Mr. Judge, pledge.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for the opportunity to come out here and take care of school business. We pray, God, for great wisdom and discernment and handling affairs. We thank you, God, for being our provider and Lord, taking care of the things that we need, Lord, to be able to provide a great education for our kids. And Lord, we thank you for our staff members. Pray, God, that you be with all of them. Be with those that have suffered loss in the last few weeks. We pray for comfort, peace in their life as well. Father, we just pray that everything will be done in an orderly fashion tonight. You be glorified. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2, recognition of presentation. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we want to recognize somebody who's been very valuable to our school system. Anytime anybody retires or moves on to something different, it leaves a great big hole in what they're doing and what we're doing. Probably one of the toughest jobs in the school system is the job of the director of instruction and curriculum. And so we know Ms. Gay's getting ready to depart us, but probably the second hardest job is the secretary of the director of instruction and curriculum. And Joan Hall has been employed with us for 21 years. She has done so much for my time as a school board member, and many of us that's been on the board and present board included. She's one of them that's behind the scenes in so many ways. You don't realize how much she does. And I know during COVID, there was a lot of programming that had to keep going. And, we all kind of got, and it wasn't just us, we all kind of got caught with, us instantly going to distance. It turned into spring break now, and then it became distance learning. And so many people, so many of our staff members continue to be coming to the office, making sure things happen, trying to get those materials out to those teachers. And Joan was very instrumental in that. Whatever needed doing, Joan didn't miss. She was here. And Joan has a lot of talents that y'all know about, but she is a singing machine. And I can tell you for 2 birthdays, she has sung the most incredible song. And it's a short song by nature. The lyrics in it says it's a short song. And when she first sang it to me last year, I couldn't believe it was already over, but the song said it was going to be over quick. So if you has she ever sung the song yet? Jeff's got the song. Okay. But no, we love her, and we appreciate her and her dedication to us. She came and talked to me a few weeks ago, and she said, "It's time. It's time for me to leave." And was very appreciative of everything that went on, and just said, "It's just time." And so tonight we honor her, and it's just such a small token. It really is. But we want you to know how much we appreciate you, and hope this little thing would be just a memento of your time with us. And I know you leave here with a lot of good memories, maybe some not so good, but you'll be, you've been through a lot of challenges, and you've walked beside us shoulder to shoulder. And Joan Hall, you're loved by the Campus School District. So I'm going to ask you to come forward. I'll give her a hand. Yes,
Mr. Petty said, I had a lot of good times here and a lot of not so good times. One of my favorite things is it's been real, and it's been nice, and it's been real, but it hasn't been real nice all the time. But I enjoyed my time with Liberty, working in pre-K with the little kids for almost 10 years, and then working at the high school and working here at the district office. I've worked with a lot of wonderful people, and I just hope and pray that y'all keep up the good work. And who's got birthdays coming up? Anybody? Anybody got birthdays?
I think you should sing something. Who's got birthday coming up? Boo's got birthday. Okay, let's do it.
All right. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long.
Let's go. Do that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Congrats.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Introduce your hubby. I didn't know it was your hubby I've been in the store.
This is my husband, Steve Hall.
How many of us see
41 years.
him at
A big
Big Man Make Tackle?
Yeah.
Good night. Thank y'all.
All right, thank y'all.
Moving right along, item number 3, public comments. We didn't have any. On item number 4, superintendent's report. Mr. Petty.
My secretary just told me it was not 3-7, it's 4-12, so scratch through that. So very quickly, thank y'all. We had, for y'all that were here already, we had an executive session dealing with some collective bargaining. I think we're making some good progress on that. So we had that while we were a little late getting in here, so I want to thank the board for that. Tomorrow, our CLNA, Mandy was talking about that. There are so many acronyms in education, you know, you better know what they are. And I remember that my first few days, they were throwing acronyms at, and I said, we need to let people know what that means. So it's the Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment Group. They'll be meeting here. I think we're going to meet in the library. We're going to meet there tomorrow at 1:30. You're more than welcome to come. We're going to meet with community leaders and businesses to discuss the employment needs of the county. This will be an opportunity to hear what educational skills and needs employers are looking for. We always want to make sure we're listening and observe the workforce demand and let that drive our vocational training in our schools. Obviously, Liberty County doesn't have a lot of technical jobs. Maybe everything doesn't fit, but we want to know, number one, we want to keep kids working here if possible. And I can tell you just right off the bat, there's needs for CDL drivers, plumbers. If you ever have a plumbing issue, good luck finding a plumber in a timely manner, especially if it's the middle of the night. So we're going to talk with them. We're going to be talking with some business leaders and stuff like that. And again, it's just a dialogue to say, what are y'all needing? What kind of employees? What kind of training do we need to be offering to make sure we're not offering something that's not going to translate to a job? The real challenge, and we had Gay and Mandy and I have been meeting, one of the great challenges for school districts and for post-secondary institutions is the legislature's moving into a thing where if you offer a program, it's got to end in a job or you don't get funded. So that, I don't even know what that looks like or how you can even make it feasible, especially when you're paying costs along the way, but they're wanting it to translate to a job. So a kid comes to a program, they get a certification in a program, they get a job, hopefully related in that program. And again, I think that's our end game is we want these kids to be working. We don't want them to not work. Otherwise, the sheriff they get to come see the sheriff and house with him for a little while. So we want to work, and I know that's kind of the direction the legislature is going in. So just this is kind of that step of making sure our training and educational vocational program meets the demand of what's out there. Number 2, OPAGA review, yet still another acronym, the Office of Program Policy Analysis and Governmental Accountability. They will be here on May 6th. Now they are charged by state law to conduct an audit of the district with the sole purpose of identifying our need for asking for the half-cent sales tax increase. We went through this when we first got the half-cent sales tax. They come in and what they do, they don't give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. All they do is come in and say, okay, you said you're asking for half-cent for facility repair, computers, whatever we put on that resolution that we put in the paper. Y'all signed a resolution last July or August for that. Well, they want to come in and say, so show us where that need is. Okay, so we have to demonstrate the need. Not going to be that hard to do. So they come in on May 6th, they'll do a lot of the preliminary interviews prior to that. I've got a group that's meeting this coming up Thursday to talk about what kind of questions you're gonna be asking and how to give answers. We're gonna kind of have some talking points. So whenever they call, if any of y'all are in the room, when they call us and ask us, what's your needs, we all singing at the same hymn. So again, let's say at the end of the day, they say, well, we think y'all don't need the money. They're gonna put that report out, it won't matter, it's gonna be on the ballot regardless. This is kind of a PR thing that can help you or hurt you, but obviously we've got need here in Liberty County. We got plenty of stuff that we're paying already with the half-cent sales tax, and we just want to kick that back in. We gotta go through this process. But they'll be here for the final review on May the 6th, but in the meantime, they'll be calling some of us asking for interviews. Number 3, our 2021 financial audit by the Florida General's Office was flawless. No findings, 0 findings. You can clap for that. That's a big deal. Very proud of our finance office. So I just can't say enough about that. Look, auditors got fined. They really need to find something, to justify their looking. And most of the time they find. And usually when they find stuff for our school district, it's quite small. It's something that, well, we didn't do this, we need to move this here. There were no 0 findings. So that was a great thing. So I applaud Ms. Hall and her office. They did a wonderful job. Governor DeSantis made his 2nd visit 2 years to our schools last month came to the Lincoln Day dinner. Very important, after he threw the first pitch out for the softball game. Relationship building, I'm gonna preach this sermon a lot. We've got to build relationships with people, and I think we're doing a wonderful job, not just us, the county's doing it too, the sheriff. Build those relationships. A lot easier to say no to somebody when they don't know who you are. I can tell you, I've been lobbying at the Capitol with sheriff, they know. I'm talking about people all around the state, they know who Buddy Money is. Hey, sheriff, and other sheriffs and stuff, those kind of things, but it's the people who dole out this money that we're so dependent on. They need to know who we are. So we don't want to be a casualty of the veto pen. We've been making calls, sending weekly emails to the governor's office, and we want to keep everything in. So far, so good. Everything, and the governor's not signed the budget, but we are optimistic. Everything we've asked for, and I think everything the county's asked for is still going to be on the budget, including a brand new jail, which is just a great ask and a great reward. New market tax credit. We finally got some money, praise the Lord, $592,000 for the district. I want to, and again, this is the first round. I've discussed with y'all individually. We're applying for more. Eric Davis is working on it as we speak. The 2nd round of funding went out May 21st, so he's again very confident we'll get more. I hope it's a lot more. But hey, I'll take 592. I'm very proud of everybody that made that happen. We had to create a nonprofit board here in the community, and that's called the Quality B Board. That was made up of James Flowers, Greg Solomon, Kathy Smargy. They served on that board, and I appreciate their commitment. Our attorney, Jackson Summers, very instrumental in this was his first new market tax credit transaction. He did a wonderful job. He worked with Mr. Fuquay, and I appreciate Jackson being a part of that, making sure that happens. There's a pile of legal stuff. I couldn't believe how much legal jargon is in those letters, and everything has to be approved and scanned and sent and all that kind of stuff. But I also want to thank Tim Revel. Tim Revel was a huge instrument in making this happen. Until he told me about it, I had never heard of new market tax credit. So was a lot of other people. But Tim Revel said, hey, have you ever heard about this? That's how this whole thing got started. Tim Revel saying, have you ever heard about new market tax credit? No, sir, but I will find out. And within 24 hours, we had already on the phone with Eric Davis. So I want to say thanks to Mr. Tim Revel publicly. Number 6, some of y'all got the Parent Square. I've been sending this on email. I think this was the 2nd time. Florida Prepaid is wanting to offer a scholarship to one of our seniors this year. If all we got to do is promote Florida Prepaid, that's a pretty good trade-off. We can do that. So that was sent out to Parent Square today. I sent it to mass email. Please feel free to copy and paste the text of that and send that to whoever can benefit. It's a really wonderful program. You pay whatever college costs now. When a kid, for a child, infant, young person, youth, whatever age you do it, but when they get in college, then that's the price you pay, and it's a great thing. So If you have a Facebook page, I know those are all private to yourself. If you feel so led to put that on your Facebook page, I would ask you to do that. No requirement, just if you would, just kind of pass the word. ESSER 3 update, we did get our ESSER 3 allocation the Friday before spring break. I put this in a staff email when this happened. We got a share file on Thursday. I think Mandy and Gay and I got a share file on Thursday. The money dropped Friday morning before spring break. The finance office, as expected, had already anticipated that when this comes through, we've got these folks identified who didn't receive the governor's $1,000, and by that afternoon, it was done. So they sent, we do direct deposit, so they were able to get it. And I just thank them again for doing that. They got it out, and that was a good spring break bonus for those people that had not got it. So thank them when you get a chance for that. Also, the good thing about this funding is that there's a lot of summer learning activities for kids out of ESSER 3, and that we've got enough money budget for the next 3 summers. That gives all of our guidance counselors, our teachers, our data entry people, they get paid their regular rate of pay. We were able to do that last summer out of ESSER. We're going to keep trying. ESSER's going to run out eventually, but we're going to keep trying to beat the bushes to make sure that they get, for some reason, they're not worth less in the summer. They're actually worth more in the summer. We want to make sure they're paid good, but we're offering good programs in the summer for the kids. Cognia, I've had this in for about the last 2 or 3 superintendent updates. Cognia is our school accreditation. That is coming up next month in May, so there will be some interviews for that. I'll talk about that a little bit as regard to strategic plan. When we get to that part, Mr. Chairman, on strategic plan, if I could just say a little blurb there while we're looking at it. Teacher Appreciation Week, first week in May. We've got lots of goodies planned for that week. If you'd like to donate anything to it, we like to give away little prizes, and they enjoy that. I think, Boo, you did a knife last night. I'm not going to hold you to it another night, but that was a great gift. And so I went to present that to the teacher, and then I realized our school safety officer may have arrested me if I did that. So we have to come here to get the knife, but it was a beautiful, beautiful gift. So any kind of little gift, if you want to do a gift card or something, if you'll get that to Renee, we'll make sure we get that in the pot. We'll make sure during that week, we're going to do random drawings during that week for gifts and whatever is donated. Tomorrow, there will be a mock DUI presentation at the high school at the track there at the football field at 10 a.m. Very special thank you to Sheriff Money. Glad y'all are here tonight. And especially Chad Smith. I wrote that in my superintendent report. Chad, this is Chad's baby, and he has just took the bull by the horns, made it happen last year. I think this is a very great event to keep ever be so mindful of kids. Don't drink and drive. They don't need to be drinking anyway, but don't drink and drive. There will be a different storyline this year. So the situation of what the emergency people find in the accident will be totally different than it was last year. I was able to be in on a meeting with them last week, and so it's a very good thing. So Sheriff, Sergeant Smith, thank y'all for being. It is Sergeant, right? Okay, which was Lieutenant. Sorry, got that wrong. Thank y'all for being a part of that. Thank y'all for doing it. Y'all don't have to do that, but you choose to do it, and you do it for the young. So thank y'all. Number 11, we began an intensive search for a new football coach at the high school due to the resignation of Coach Jordan yesterday. He was offered the job last week from Bluntstown, and we found out Sunday night he informed us that he had accepted the position. So we wish the best for him, and that was a tough decision for him. I know, but change is inevitable. So we've got to move forward, and so I met at the high school yesterday for a number of hours, met with the administration there, and so we had an advertisement, about lunchtime yesterday, and so they'll put that on the FHSA website as well. That'll be another resource to do that. We've gotten a couple applicants, so we're anticipating a lot of applicants now. I think it's a great program to come into after a 9-3 season. Number 12, no school for students on Friday. This will be a professional development day for our staff. So a couple things I didn't put in there because it was a little more wordy. A couple y'all had asked about some bills that affect us. One of them, right off the bat, is 1467. Affects school board term limits. So talked with Bob Harris about that. He's our attorney, FADS. So if you're currently on the board and so the ones that this affects the quickest is Boo would be you, Jason would be you, and Doobie would affect you. So this is just a case scenario. If y'all run this time, I know y'all still have qualifying time, but if you choose to run and you win, the most you could serve is 12 years. If you run for subsequent and got elected, okay, is 12 years. Now for James and Jody, because they are halfway through a term, this would not be applicable until 2024. And then that's where their 12-year max term limit would start. Okay, so that's a new thing. They've been trying to do this for about 22 years, honestly, and they've always coupled it with salaries. Okay, this year they figured out the way to do it is to separate those. I truly believe, honestly, they'll come after salaries, but the school board salaries will be the next thing. We've got a wonderful guy that's champion for that, and for was against it. Chris Doolin, who's our lobbyist with Small County Coalition, but they got it done. I remember having this conversation in 2002. They almost got it done in 2006. So it's just one of those things that happen. So that affects y'all as school board members. The other thing that's part of 1467 is materials. There's been a real push in the media and having, do schools have inappropriate materials in the library, part of your curriculum. House Bill 1467, part of that new law will require us to basically put those things on our website, school website, individual school website that says this is the curriculum we are using. That way a parent can say, well, then I'm going to research that curriculum and see if that's appropriate. If there's issues, then they come in and deal with it. That's not been an issue in Liberty County. I think we've been very blessed. We vet that stuff incredibly hard. What we do, the way we've done with all our new textbook adoption, new curriculum, based on the best standards, is we've had the teachers come in, some from Oxford, different, same grade levels come in, some really good teachers, good veteran teachers, some new teachers to go through curriculums. The curriculum groups will do presentations and try to sell their curriculum because it's a business, so they try to sell that. But we go through it with a fine-tooth comb. There is no perfect curriculum.
Yes, I too. There was so March got another big chunk of policy updates. And that one is a formal complaint process. Right. The parent does want to complain regarding instructional materials. That includes the library, any kind of other instructional reading materials that are in the school. Right.
We don't want that. We don't want that.
Statute too is moving forward and talking about the other two that we're going to, as you said, right. Have to post that. So
you have to post that, and then have the parents understand that if I want to grieve it, I want to complain, or I've got a process, they have the right to do that. Parental rights, that's the big buzzword for this, and that's fair. It's fair to do. I can tell you, we've had that happen where somebody say, "Did you know that book was in the library?" If it's filth, we don't want it there. We don't want it there, So we're going to do our best to be a good filter for that. So those are the two things that I did not put in there, but I gave y'all copies of. You can read about it. If you have any other questions, Bob Harris is a good resource. If I can't answer your question, he's good. And also Jackson is our attorney. He can help answer something if you got some very specific questions. But during the strategic plan motion, I'd like to just say a quick blurb about that.
Okay, moving on to item number 5, addition correction to agenda. Need a motion to approve addition correction to consent items 8B and G. Motion. Mr. Moore, second. Jody, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item B, need a motion for addition to correction to action item 9J and K. Have a motion. Motion, Ms. Jody, have a second. Second, Mr. Flowers. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item C, motion to delete consent item 8I. Have a motion. Motion. Mr. Flowers, second. Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, item D. Need a motion to add emergency item 10A and B. Motion. Motion, Mr. Singletary. Second. Flowers, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, item 6. Need a motion to approve the agenda for April 12th, 2022. Have a motion? Motion is Jody, second. Second, Mr. Singletary, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item 7, need a motion to approve March 7th, 2022 regular meeting minutes. Have a motion? Motion, Mr. Jody, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Moore. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item B, need a motion to approve March 7th, 2022 workshop meeting minutes. Motion. Motion, Mr. Singletary, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Moore. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item C, need a motion to approve March 28th, 2022 emergency meeting minutes. Have a motion? Motion, Mr. Jody, second. Second, Mr. Singletary. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item 8, consent item. Item 8, need a motion to approve the financial report and transaction, the principal report for March 22, financial statement for March 2022, budget amendments for March 2022, and new numbers are 110-02, 42003, 44303, 44601, and bills and payrolls for March 2022. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Flowers, second, Mr. Morris. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item B, need a motion to approve April 12th, 2022 personnel consent table. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Flowers, second. Second, Mr. Singletary. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item C, need a motion to approve outer field teaching for April 2022. Have a motion? Motion, Mr. Moore, second. Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item B, need a motion to approve dated sub list for April 2022. Have a motion? Motion, Ms. Jody, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Flower, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item E, need a motion to approve Liberty County District School Board 2021 fiscal year financial and federal single audit report number 2022-147. Have a motion?
Motion.
Ms. Jody, second. Mr. Flower, any discussions? Any, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item F, need a motion to approve disposition of property. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Flower, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Singletary. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item G, need a motion to approve the advertised ITB invitation to bid for fuel, gas, and the Calhoun Liberty Journal for the 22-23 fiscal year. Motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Moore, second, Ms. Jody. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item A. Need a motion to approve updated job description. Have a motion? Motion, Mr. Jody, second. Second, Mr. Singletary. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item number 9, action item. Need a motion to approve 2022-23 annual FSBA membership renewal, 7/1/2022 to the 6th to 30th of 2023. Have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Flower, have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Morris, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any, approve of? Any against it? Motion carries. Next item B, need a motion to approve engagement letter between Liberty County School Board and Alice Ann Dawson. Did I say that right? Desire, every year, CPA, PA, a facility services to be performed in the month of August 2022. Have a motion? Motion, Mr. Jody, second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item C. Need a motion to approve Liberty County School District participation in support of the 2022 STEM Summer Challenges provided by Emory, Riddle, Aeronautical, University through a partnership with Panhandle Area Education Consortium. Have a motion? Motion, Mr. Moore, second.
Second.
Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item D, need a motion to approve the addendum to the 21-22 dual enrollment articulation and agreement between Chipotle College and the Liberty County School Board. Have a motion? Motion, Mr. Secretary, second. Second, Mr. Fowler. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item E, need a motion to approve amendment to the cooperative agreement between DJJ and Liberty County School District to align with current Florida statute 1003.51 and rule 6A-1.045111. Have a motion? Motion, Ms. Jody, second. Second, Ms. Flower. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item L. The motion to approve MH service contract, HMO 17, Amendment 002 between Northwest Florida Health Network and Liberty County School District. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Flower, second. Second, Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item G, need a motion to approve the 2021-22 amended dual enrollment articulation agreement between Liberty County School and Tallahassee Community College ending July the 31st, 2022. Have a motion? Motion, Joe, second, Mr. Singletary. Any discussion?
Yeah, between this old contract to present and TC, what's the difference in speakers that we have?
We're heavily with Chipotle.
Yeah, it's a lot more for Chipotle, but I tell you, TC covers a lot of foster kids, college kids that, or if any want to go over there, we have it with both,
I think it's a great idea to have that.
Yeah, we do it both. I mean, we're technically in Chipotle's thing, so we have to get Chipotle to say, the week as, so to speak, we have to get their, they say, okay, we'll allow that. But we have to write a letter and say, look, Dr. Clemens, we got some kids in Hofstra that don't want to drive to Mariana, they're just real close to. So that's why we do that, but it's a lot more Chipotle, it's probably 95.5.
Oh,
Yeah, probably. If not more.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item H, need a motion to approve the following school-based data scientists. Donna Summers at Liberty County High School, 7 weeks, 4 days a week, 7 hours per day at hourly rate, paid 12 days in June and 16 days in July. Brenda Green, middle school at W.R. Toll, 5 weeks, 4 days a week, 7 hours per day, hourly rate, paid 8 days in June and 12 days in July. Beth Rebel, middle school at W.R. Toll, 5 weeks, 4 days a week, 7 hours per day, hourly rate, paid 8 days in June and 12 days in July. Becky Black at Hofstra Elementary and Junior High, 5 weeks, 4 days a week, 7 hours a day, hourly rate, paid 8 days in June and 12 days in July. Have a motion? Motion, Ms. Moore, second.
Second.
Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item I. Need a motion to approve the following summer data entry staff. Liddell Holland at W.R. Toller School, 6 weeks, 4 days a week, 7 hours per day, hourly rate, paid 12 days in June and 12 days in July. Mary Waller at Hofstra Elementary and Junior High, 6 weeks, 4 days a week, 7 hours per day, hourly rate, paid 12 days in June and 12 days in July. Have a motion? Motion, Joe, second. Secretary, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item J. Need a motion to approve the following summer teaching positions or ESY, ESE, extended school year. Jessica Clark at W.R. Toll, Katie O'Brien at Hofstra K-8. Position to be paid from ESER 3 hourly rate of pay 4 hours per day, 13 days in June and 9 days in July. This includes 4 hours of planning in June and 4 hours of planning in July. Dates for ESY will be June the 9th through the 30th, and July the 8th through the 21st for teachers and for students. June the 13th through the 30th, and July the 11th through the 21st. Have a motion? Motion is Jody, second. Second, Ms. Flowers, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item, K. Need a motion to approve the following summer program paraprofessionals. Alex Watson for ASE, ESY at Hospital School, K8. And Yellow Holly for summer tutoring program at W. October. Position, location may adjust based on student and need and attendance. Position to be paid from ESSA3, hourly rate of pay for 4 hours per day, 24 instructional days. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Moore, second, Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item, L. Need a motion to approve the following summer tutoring teacher position for ESY, extended school year. Emily Byron, Christy Glass, Michelle McCaskill, Samantha Newsom, and Hope Will. Split 3 positions, 3 weeks each at W. October. Jessica Edward, Desiree Sewell, Jessica Petty, Lisa O'Brien, Cassie Bickler. Split 3 positions, 3 weeks each at Hospital K8. Position to be paid from ESSA3, hourly rate of pay, 4 hours per day, 24 instructional days, 2 planning days, 2 in June and July, total of 26 days. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Fowler, second. Second, Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item M. Need a motion to approve the following summer reading cap positions. Misty Sizemore at W.R. Toll, Christy Copeland at Hospital K8. Position to be paid from ESSA3, hourly rate of pay, 4 hours per day, 24 instructional days, and 2 planning days due in June and July, total of 26 days. Motion? Motion, Mr. Moore, second. Second, Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item N. Need a motion to approve Lisa O'Brien for 8th grade and high school student preparing for Algebra 1 retake. Position to be paid from ESSA3, hourly rate of pay, 4 hours per day, 12 instructional days, and 1 planning day during the summer, total of 13 days. Have a motion? Motion, Ms. Jody, second. Ms. Singletary, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item, need a motion to approve the following summer tech position. Stacy Bile at W.R. Toll, Heather Richter and Miranda Ellis at Hospital K8, with position 50 hours each. Trish Strickland at Liberty County High School, position to be paid from ESSA3, hourly rate of pay up to 100 hours. Motion? Motion. Ms. Flowers, second, Ms. Singletary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item 10, emergency item. Need a motion to adopt the Liberty County School District Strategic Plan 2022 through 2024, draft 1. Motion. Motion. Moore, second. Who's second? Jody. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Mr. Chair, this is where I was.
Okay.
Okay, so just very briefly, I don't want to get into nuts and bolts, everything. I just want to talk, we had a strategic plan a long time ago. Can't remember exactly when we did that. And that sounds like a big term, for something. I know a lot of times, with our school improvement plans, 5-year work plans, different things, we're required by the state to do those things. I was talking to one of y'all this week, but sometimes if I was to ask you, what's the most important 3 things in the Toller School or Hosford school improvement plan, we probably have to look at it, and then the strategic plan kind of is kind of the broader picture of what we're trying to do, the infrastructure wise on everything we do. I've got 7 things here. This is a working document. That's why I put draft 1. We've not had one. We want to start that. This is important for our cognitive review, our accreditation review. They're probably going to ask you some questions. So y'all need to study this a little bit because you will be tested. No, you will be asked individually. I don't know how many they will interview. If it's all 5 of you, that's probably all 5 of y'all. But I wanted to make this as simple as possible because I think a strategic plan should be quite simple and quite fluid. That as things are done, you check them off and you keep adding to them. So as times change, as funding changes, as curriculum changes, all those kind of things, then you make the updates. Now, these 7 things will not be the final 7 things. I've actually got about 11 one thing, 4 other things, but to get through this review, I put what I felt like was the 7 most important things, and that's you know, y'all may or may not agree with that, but I want to go with these because I think these are the things that we've already been working on. Instructional leadership, goal number 1. We want to ensure that our principals and assistant principals understand their number 1 job is to be the instructional leaders at the school. That's it. Under that, we'll talk about the outcomes. I can tell you we have done those things. We are currently doing those things. So, you know, when somebody asks you if somebody at the review asks you what's instructional leadership, you can start kind of giving them some ideas of what that is based on our strategic plan. Second thing, academic achievement. Obviously, we want all of our kids to do well. We want to remain in a district, and we are. We talk about some CT, some vocational classes within it. Financial management, it's a no-brainer. We want to remain solid. And some of the things we do here is just a repeat of our board policy at 5%. We're looking at pursuing the adoption of the half-cent sales tax. Obviously, if that gets on there, you know, we take it off, you know, for updating the strategic plan next year. We want 0 audit findings. We're pursuing new market tax credits, all that stuff. This stuff we've already been doing. We just put pen to paper to call it what we're doing. And it's been a strategic plan verbally. We're putting it on paper. Goal number 4, school safety. Successful implementation of our Safer Watch system, which was a state requirement. All of our drills will be done. Ricky does a phenomenal job making sure all of our drills, making sure all of our equipment, him and Kevin working together, make sure the fire alarm's working, smoke alarm, any kind of drills that we need to do, emergency drills, that those are done and duly noted. And so therefore, because we have audits, they come in, Ricky just came to a safety audit. They come in, they say, "You're doing this great, doing this not so great," but we did, we'll right on that. Goal 5, facilities. This can almost be an endless strategic part of our strategic plan, but we want to maintain what we have. We want to finish the field house. We want to build a softball place. We want to pursue special facilities funding for a new lunchroom at Toller School. That one's just grossly inadequate. And we want to try to pursue some historic money. This is things we've been talking about. Goal 6, student transportation. Make sure all of our bus drivers and all these things are happening. But it's one of these things we want to keep making sure that they do. They're always drug free. They're tested periodically. We have an aging fleet of buses. We'll continue to pursue money with the legislature. Hopefully this first time will be a new bus for us for $120 grand. And goal 7, community outreach. We want to foster productive relationships. I talked a little bit about that with our governmental bodies, our business partners, all this stuff. Have a good PTO. We're using Fair Square for mass communication. We're meeting with local business leaders, Chamber of Commerce. It was a Chamber of Commerce meeting last week. I was able to attend. Darwin Gilmore with Chipotle was there. He's the dean of CT up there. Had a great time with him. We make sure that we're actively engaging all of our public officials. All of us. This really is all of us. All board, all the district office people, everybody. Our district advisory council we just had another meeting last week. It's in place. And the ability to make some of our surplus. I talked to y'all a little bit before the meeting that any of this surplus space that we can rent out, that we're making a little money doing that. It gets used and it serves as a thing for the community. So these are just 7 really easy things that I think that are very representative of what we've been trying to do as a board. Since I've been on superintendent, y'all been on the board, that we've tried to do. And I'd say a lot of this we've already done. But these would be some of the things I'll question you on. Is tell me about your strategic plan. I want y'all to, it will be a virtual thing, so you can have some cheat sheets. So, well, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have cram meeting, study guide time to sit down with y'all maybe right before they come in May. And let's talk about it together. Let me give you some talking points and stuff that you can review. And if you have any questions, you can add to that. But I want to kind of prep y'all a little bit for that. They will ask you about your training, if you're doing any kind of FSBA training. So that'll be another question they'll ask. Are you doing some of that? What have you done? Are you planning on doing some training and that kind of stuff? So anyway, that's the strategic plan. I'm asking, that again, hopefully by summer, I'll have what the full plan will look like to get through this review. I'd say 85% of it's right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? All fair say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item B, be a motion to approve letter of agreement to participate in the Power Buying Group, PBG, for the term of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Have a motion? Secretary, Secretary Joe, any discussion? All fair say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Board member. Miles, got anything?
They had, one thing, Ms. Betty, I would like to, on our money and the funds that we got, the projects that we got coming up, and we schedule any kind of meeting to kind of sit down, let's discuss, talk about what we're gonna do,
Yes.
what we can do, what we need to do.
Yes, so, and I had discussed, with Jody, we talked about this, this is not something that we're just gonna pull from and not consult y'all. We've already talked about ahead of time what we wanna use this for, our priority list. Obviously, one of the main things, that field house, we're gonna try to make sure we get that thing finished, but we will not, anytime we are looking at big purchases or expenditures with that, I will bring that before y'all, because I want us to be in full agreement, because I don't want to do something y'all go, well, that's not what we agreed to do. We've talked about it. We've talked about the list for 13 years, but now that we've got some money to be able to take some of the things off the list, I will make that. So I can tell you, and I should have told y'all this. So I met with Culpeper. They've come out there, Kevin and I, and Kyle Rogers. We met a week and a half ago at the field house, kind of looked around. It's in pretty dang good shape. They've come through, it's 9 years old, it's come through the storm. So it's not in bad shape. Kevin wanted to try to get Kyle in touch with Jinker and Willard Reddick, because they were working when it was, and so there's some things that they did different that were not on the plans, actually were better, to kind of give him an idea of what's been done, where things are at, those kind of things. And then Kyle's working on some pricing for plumbing, electrical, and high back. Kind of what we're going to look at, because that you got to have that in place before you do all the other stuff. And so we should have some numbers soon. I'll bring y'all back together and we can talk about that. Maybe a workshop or however you want to do that.
Yeah, I think we probably need to.
I'll go on to tell you, we won't make any purchases out of that money unless y'all know exactly what we're doing way ahead of time. I won't just automatically go, well, we're gonna buy this, buy that. We're not gonna do that. That would go against what we're talking about.
Yeah. I think that.
The half-cent sales tax, I know, August coming in, that kind of thing. Do we have a time frame or timeline of how, what's gonna happen between once Oklahoma sees this? And I'm assuming that would kind of be the checkoff point as we go forward. Got the newspapers, there's gonna be some messaging. I know the board can't lobby for that.
Right.
Can you give me a little bit of, or maybe all of us at one time?
Yeah.
Kind of a timeline where we're headed. I know
Yeah.
this is coming fast.
As soon as the pocket gets done with everything, I'm really, the lady who's doing that thing, Betty Russell, RESSUELL, very nice lady, they're gonna fly in from Texas. Once that's done, and I'm anticipating to be a good offer, it's gonna say, yeah, Liberty County, they need some help. We're gonna use that as part of the promotional stuff, to say, look, we've been vetted through this, and again, we have to, it's not optional. But I hope
she's gonna be here May 6th. I hope we've got a report by June 30th.
Do we have any plans for community leaders, realtors, organizations? Usually that's, you know, you kind of get these people behind you.
So what I would like to do is have a public meeting with the board. It'll be more of a workshop, because it won't be any action taken by the board, but I would like the board to be involved. I want to invite every stakeholder, teachers union, who's already committed to, hey, look, we can help this. They can help big time with that. And it's to their advantage as well. Look, the more money we get in, the more we can put in other places. Teachers union, Chamber of Commerce, other, the sheriff can lobby for it. Hey, let me do something, man, get some money now, I tell you. So, yeah, we can have a bunch of people do that. There are restrictions for school boards. Signage, it's a campaign. It is a campaign, and you've seen in other communities, vote no on referendum, vote yes on referendum, absent sales tax. We're gonna need some donations and to help fund the campaign. This will be my first going through it as superintendent, so I've got to get some guidance on who pays for that, how does that get paid, does that get reported, or is that just donation? That part I don't know, but I'm hoping by summer we'll start that campaign. We'll not be on the August ballot, we'll be on the November ballot.
And I think James spoke on construction of the tax credit. I think it's real important that any changes, not just, telling us what's, you're gonna spend it here, but, Culpepper or any of our vendors come in and they say, we want this, or we think it's, and any changes to that, I think we need to be updated, so we know, that, it's very transparent.
Won't move without doing that, I promise.
That's all I got. Congratulations to, our softball team, and they're doing really good this year.
I'd like to just say, thank you for all the hard work y'all do, all through the school system, everybody, guys, I do a great job. Touch a little bit on Sheriff's money for being here tonight, and like I say, we can't say enough about Mr. Chad Smith, he's a go-getter. I really appreciate you, Chad, buddy. See you, Jason.
I'd like to commend Ms. Sheila on her flawless audit and everyone else involved. Congratulations to the boys wrestling team. I think Coach Jordan told me there were 7 guys wrestling at St. Joe next Saturday. What did I say, wrestling?
Yeah.
Weightlifting, I'm sorry. 5 of the same guys in 2 different events, and then 2 guys in one event that aren't in the other, 7 times. So. Well, 12 events that were weightlifting. Congratulations to them. Try to get a lot.
If you can go to that, it's at Port St. Joe, the state championship, Port St. Joe High School. Jim Norton and them do a wonderful job. But you better have you some money to park, because they got students out here taking you money to park. And first thing they'll say, are you local? And don't lie to them. But,
Coach Jordan said it should start, I don't know for sure, but it should start around 1 p.m.
yeah, Saturday the 23rd.
And he said it's an all day, it'll be all day into the night.
Yeah. Went last year, it was phenomenal. So
Yeah,
it's
the
really
kids that were regional champions, right?
yeah, Riley Graham.
And Shiloh.
And
Riley
Riley's first.
Riley's a district champion,
Riley was
region
on the
champion,
region.
snatch.
Strong.
He's been strong since he was 3.
Like a touchdown.
And I want to commend the sheriff's department for doing the mock you out.
Yeah.
Real good job on that.
Just on football, coach, we appreciate you spending time here. But how long are we gonna have application process and all that? Well, summer's here. Football coaches.
So obviously this is the worst time of year for something like this to happen,
It happened several years back.
It did. Really, Coach Kennedy left, it was the spring, I think he left in the spring. Yeah, that's right. So, the most pressing thing, once your coach gets here, is spring practice, which, we got about, 6.5 weeks of school left. So we would love to have somebody in place rather quick, but we're not gonna rush that, but the goal is to have somebody here sooner than later that can be here for spring football. That's a huge time for the program.
Well, I can think
based on what was on the board agenda, the attachment of the consent table. I think his last day is the 22nd, and he'll be here at state meets on the 23rd.
He's gonna participate. He's gonna be
He
there
will
with
be a
our
part of
students for
that.
that.
He will be a part of that, but that'll be his last official day. We posted yesterday, it has to be 10 days for external. I think it closes on the 22nd. So his last day is when advertising will close, so immediately we'll be able to do that.
But you don't need to be in a big hurry to pick the wrong guy.
Correct.
I mean, I know, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. You know, a lot of times we go ahead, even though the advertisement is, it begins on the 27th, we went ahead and had people applying already, and you thought they were qualified, and you would go ahead and do interviews
You can, you can go in.
before it closes.
Yeah,
go ahead and
absolutely.
Get those interviews.
Correct, yes.
Kind of, so, you know,
Yes.
but you got. till the
You just can't
20th.
name somebody out.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying.
Yes, that's.
Can we go ahead and do that at least, so we have. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Just asking, but no, we were not.
The only
You
We
thing,
can do that with the state.
you can, you
the
can.
only thing with that, if you have a bunch, you wouldn't want to start interviewing everybody. You might want to interview the top 5. You might not know that till it closes.
I think that would be a decision to look at it.
Yeah.
Next week.
but-
There may be something come in, you go, I'm talking about that.
Right,
And so
yeah.
some of that already happened where,
Okay.
where there's been some communication and they're already having some informal interviewing, so to speak, you know? And they might have, that might be Mr. Nichols not even apply, but maybe, hey, we'd like you to apply or whatever, you know.
I appreciate everything, here, money and all about it. Sheila, good job. I think it's the first time in the board member we didn't have any findings on financial at all.
She's going out with the bank.
That's what I'm saying, what do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that's the first time as a board member, we had you.
I think so.
Great job with you.
It's been a long time, ain't it, Doc?
Long time. Long time.
That's all I got.
Moving on, looking to adjourn, have a motion.
Second.
We adjourn.
Okay, so. Mr. Willis, I don't know where it appears.
twice already. No response.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I think,
I know the meeting adjourned